welcome today as we have our very first episode where we look into what is government, what it is to be governed, and what is governance. So politics at an early age. Now, what do you say to people who always say, I hate politics, I don't want to deal with politics, I hate politics? Or what do you say to those people?
I would say you don't realize that politics actually governs your life, your whole life. And so there's no way that you can completely disengage from politics. You know, it's going to determine how much tax you're paying, for example. You know? It's going to determine, you know, just the laws that govern, you know, how you live in that particular country. And so I think there just needs to be an understanding that, because, you know, even it happens with me as well. A lot of my family always asks me, oh, so just because, you know, I'm a political scientist. And I say no. You have to understand that, you know, politics is not just about Kwako Freedom Squares and politics, but it's actually also just having the one thing that I really valued from actually my undergrad and even just my postgrad is that I realized that like being a student of political science allowed me to understand how the world works. And so it allowed me to understand, you know, how systems function that determine even how I get to function in the country or, you know, in that particular system. That's one. I think also probably part and parcel of our country is that because we've had you know, has been at the forefront of everything, you know, so the public service really hires, you know, the majority of people, etc. So you've never really had a lot of, let's say, think tanks or independent, you know, organizations being formed because the idea and I think that also has been a disadvantage because other professions then like this, you often don't see the value of them because you're just like, no, we don't need to have, you know, independent consultancies or, you know, organizations like BCPI or whatever. And I think that also is a problem. Even just the fact that our economy seems to be very one-sided or it's not very diverse, so you don't see where you're gonna fit in. And it's almost not your fault. It's just the way that, you know, our system has run and the way that we have understood what politics is and, you know, what it means to be political citizens or politically active is a little bit limited.
Let me just add on to what she just said. I think the discussion here, politics, is finally the state and then the political party. People always use them interchangeably as if they refer to the same thing. There's politics and there's partisan politics. And politics, as she has rightly defined it, is all about who gets what, when, and how in an economy. It's about how the national resources are allocated for whose benefit. And partisan politics, it's all about contestation or competition for political power by or amongst the different political parties. So that's the one But politics, as it deals with the entire system of governance, one cannot say I hate politics. But again, usually politics UDC, BCP, and BDP. But politics is all about how resources are allocated.
So we must love politics. We must know politics.
In fact, we are political animals.
We are political animals.
Man is a political animal.
So you just need to know the kind of animal you really are as a political animal, right?
You can choose to belong to a particular political party, embrace their political ideology. But at the starting point, we are all affected by the decisions that are made in terms of how our resources are going to be allocated. Because I just allocate to isn't. Wow. And that's politics.
Okay, now going back now, because now I'm thinking, if we have MPs, sometimes there were some discussions and debates on qualifications of members of parliament, even councillors, and people like, but you can't really determine or say, you know, members of political parties must have these qualifications because and sometimes they didn't even finish primary school. So the thinking level, no, puisetso hela ha a ta phithong and a re thusa mo gae a re interpretela something a re translatela. She's a leader, so we can vote for her. What do you think of the idea of having advisors for members of parliament? Because I think in Germany, they each have advisors. Like the members of parliament have access to advisors on different issues, be it trade, be it agriculture, to help the committees make informed decision on behalf of the citizens, because they can't know it all. But what do you think of that? Because I know we don't have that here.
Yeah, I think it even just goes, maybe even just before commenting on that, I think even having something like that begins to show people that the people who are governing actually take themselves seriously and actually take the job seriously. And I think
those who are governing.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so I think it begins to show, you know, the people, because, you know, if you look at what government is, just taking the word govern, you know, to govern is to rule. So it means that you are ruling over others in some capacity. And so when we begin to put things like that in place to say, you know, even if mo parlamente o sena are you don't have a university degree, but, you know, we have a system that means you have a team around you, one or two people that are, you know, experts in that field, or that are, you know, educated and can actually bring in, you know, points of thinking that maybe you are not privy to, etc. I think it begins to show people, you know, we are taking the role seriously, and you know, using this to enrich ourselves. But it actually, I think, also begins to be seen almost as a I don't know if I should say profession, because some people, you know, they are in politics just as a profession to make money, and to live comfortable lives. But I think it almost speaks something to our citizenry if we don't care about the experience, if we don't care about the knowledge of those that are actually governing us.